Sri Aurobindo's fancy and the reality. That is the topic of discussion for this evening. Something really we don't know. It comes as an irony. I think some people are here before me who belongs to this English student. You have read some literature from English. Any literature you go, you will be finding maybe your different meaning where as according to your language. But definitely the term is the irony. What really something is, what something really expected to be. What I expect, but what I find. What I dreamt of and finally how I achieved. So there is a big gap between this fancy and the reality. Fancy and the reality. So irony is there. We want to go for Sri Aurobindo's fancy and the reality. What really expected Sri Aurobindo would be before seeing him. And after seeing him, what is their reaction? That is the reality and difference between fancy and reality. Exactly, if you go to this definition in dictionary meaning, if you find any dictionary meaning, this fancy is really something very interesting. Something like inclination, whim, supposition, imagination, you can go that way. Something you imagine, the thing will be like that. Result will be like that. He will be a man of character like man like this. Thus will be his character and characteristic. That is what that supposition or fancy, inclination, whim, supposition. These are coming under the term that are all altogether signifies that is your fancy. But the reality is what really you see. What really you see. If you can take this reality, this definition, that is very interesting. This is the dictionary. You will find the exact meaning of reality. That is very interesting. What is real? What is real? What is existent? So that way you can find what really does not appear, what really it is. That is reality. That you don't imagine really what really this is. This is your fancy. You suppose something will be, that is coming your supposition or your imagination. But thing is, what is really happening? If those fancy and the reality, those mark, you become happy. If that is actually very different, so you feel there is something irony in it. So we are going to have a brief discussion on this topic, that is on fancy and the reality of this Lord. I mean the Lord's or Sri Aurobindo's fancy and the reality. It is very much interested. It is much. I want to go to the quote some couple of remarks from Dinendra Kumar. Dinendra Kumar's remark I want to quote before you. What was his first impression? Already I have told, before seeing Sri Aurobindo, before Sri Aurobindo really landed in Bombay that time, before he landed, they expected something will be there. It is very grand, very large, very colorful, very imaginative. Because he is supposed to be as an accomplished Englishman. Already we have discussed. Because father wanted that way. The conditions under which three sons were sent forth to London, the condition was different. What was the real condition? Number one, there must be, definitely the goal will be Sri Aurobindo particularly. Sri Aurobindo particularly will be the accomplished Englishman. For that, what will be there? He must not be allowed to meet any Indian. First condition. He must not be allowed to meet an Indian. He should not know about Indian. Traditionally, he must not interfere or come into touch with the Indian culture. Finally, he is supposed to be born and brought up something imaginative idea, and something was inside there that he will turn as the fate maker of India. Something he will qualify as his ICS. That's what already you have known already. But what happened? Mr. Dinendra Kumar is observing how, in this first glimpse, what he imagined and what he got. He says, before I met Sri Aurobindo, I had imagined, already I have told a fancy imagination who is suppose who him like this. I had imagined him in a very European style because on at least 14 years he spent. Already we have discussed his 14 years, equivalent to 14 years Amos exile, Ramachandra's exile. So 14 years, after 14 years, Sri Aurobindo is returning to the original motherland, that is India. So Dinendra Kumar had that's the expectation, imagination, he will be tall, as a tall, stalwart figure. Tall and stalwart, because just to see, at around 7 years, really at 7, he was departed to London. After 14 years, he is returning back, it is 21. So after that, normally physical growth on height or vertically, it is next to impossible. So this Dinendra Kumar is expecting his sight, his figure will be something like a tall, stalwart figure. And as he's spending his 14 years of time in London, so naturally he would be dressed from head to feet in immaculate European style. Immaculate European style, definitely he will be dressed up. And be spectacle, something, wearing a spectacle, something. Because he is finishing his European education, European lifestyle, European culture, European stay, so he will be like this. And what will be happen with stone piercing look and affected accent, quick tempered, intolerant, like this. These are the quality expected by Dinendra Kumar before he saw Sri Aurobindo. Number one, what will be, again I will tell you, stalwart figure, he will be tall, be spectacled, stone piercing look, affected accent, quick tempered, and intolerant. Because he, definitely he had to qualify ICS, but finally in the end time, final moment, he did not appear that horse riding test. Frankly, and this was his comment. Frankly, I was little disappointed when I saw him. I was a little disappointed, not little fully disappointed, because these are the figures totally different. What he expected, what he imagined, it is totally different. But his long, soft, shining hair, disappointed. Why? Here was a shy, dark youth, gentle eyes filled with a dream of his long, soft, shining hair, parted in the middle and flowing down to the thick neck. These are the conditions. He expected what accomplished in Englishman. Now itself the irony is this: he sees dark youth, gentle eyes, filled with a dream, his long, soft and shining hair, and he is shy, parted in the middle and flowing down to the neck. He was dressed in a thick, coarse dhoti and a close-fitting Indian jacket. Close-fitting Indian jacket and old-fashioned slippers with, upturned toes. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Just imagine. With what great imagination people were there gathered around him to welcome, but what they really see. What reality is and what the fancy was. How the supposition or imagination was there, Sri Aurobindo would be something else. And what they saw, find right now, and everything is before him. Then something comes out of his tone. Is this youth Sri Aurobindo Ghosh? In your language, you can, is it Mr. Aurobindo Ghosh? Youth Aurobindo Ghosh. I asked myself, is this the living image of the great scholar of Greek, French, and Latin? That's what he is confused. What I expected, what greatness is there. I don't know. Dr. Ghosh, the physically, father of Sri Aurobindo, after getting the wrong news, that sad accident or incident we have already described earlier, he met his pathetic end. Here this man, Dinendra Kumar is expecting the great scholar of Greek, French, and Latin. Is this the figure, or I am daydreaming, or seeing something else, or some imagination is there, imaginative figure is there? He can't really trust his eyes. Who could have imagined him, believed it? He was supposed to reach there. 13 years he spent all along in study and all. Everybody expected he will be accomplished gentleman as his father expected, had the dream, but they are seeing like this. Then, then this gentleman is still continuing. Dinendra Rai continues. Dinendra Rai continues. In a short time I lived with him. Sometimes I lived him. Short time I lived with him. I saw clearly that that his heart was pure and unworldly. His heart was pure and unworldly. He smiled and laughed like a child, frankly and gently. Can you imagine? This is your God. This is your God whom really you find here. Heart was pure, unworldly, smiled and laughed like a child, frankly and gently. The corners of his lips expressed the power of inflexible will. In the corners of his lips, that those expressed power of inflexible will, yet in his heart there was not a trace of worldly ambition before all. It is an almost sannyasin, but actually, see, living in the Western culture, splendid lifestyle, and huge material society he is brought up there, being qualified. But can you imagine? A trace of worldly imagination was not found, or any human selfish motive. He was beyond all. He had but one deep yearning, rare even among the gods. Rare, if you compare, these are the Indians we can expect, okay, something is human being, they had expectation. But Mr. Rao is explaining deep yearning, rare even among the gods, totally selfless, no worldly ambition. It is what he possessed, it is a really rare occasion or rarely you can find. I expect in gods also to give the whole being as a sacrifice, to give the whole being as a sacrifice. Even this quality is a so divine quality, godly quality, you can't expect anywhere among the man. Even it is rare, even among the gods. And humanity's suffering may disappear. That humanity is a sacrifice for what? Sacrifice for the disappearance of the human suffering. Humanity is suffering for that actually he did. I used to stay with him, the commenter. Dinendra Kumar is expecting his tale. I used to stay with him and I gradually came to know him closely. I felt more and more that this man is not a man of the earth. How can I explain? This commentator, the writer, he is expressing, definitely I have mixed with him closely. I have stayed with him, I have closely studied him. Definitely it seems he does not belong to this earthly atmosphere. He does not mean, he is not a man of this earth. He is a God come down who has come down from heaven such through some course. His cursed life, something he has descended from the, fallen from the heaven. He does not belong to this material suffering world. It is very much limited, very much, packed with slavery, packed with pain, packed with suffering. Definitely some fallen God who has come down being cursed from the heaven. Always I saw that he lived like a real self-denying sannyasi. Real self-denying sannyasin, but actually people know, people estimate, people verdict, people analyze. He is a descendant from the European or Western culture, West European lifestyle from especially England. This England was actually reigning over the world. Can you imagine what happened? Real self-denying sannyasin, austere in self-discipline. Just imagine this description. Can you follow? What will be our voice? What will be our imagination? I don't think. But feeling deeply others' pain, not at all bothered about him, sacrificed for the entire humanity. So things, something rare qualities you can find there, which was really impossible even the gods also. This is what he had been cursed. It seemed he is cursed and he is fallen from this heaven. He had but one aim in life, only one aim. You have also one aim. I will be a doctor, I will be ICIS, I will be an engineer, I will be a politician. But his own aim in his life, it seemed to me, to gather knowledge. To gather knowledge, mad after knowledge. Gather knowledge for the realization in the midst of whole world's noise and hustle. Noise and bustle everywhere you can find. There itself he expected one thing, one aim and one objective, to gather knowledge. To gather knowledge, that was there. He lived in the hard life of Tapasvi and never saw him angry. Never, never, never. So godly quality you can't just imagine. I can't explain even in the worldly language. I express my gratitude to this Lord. Thank you, Vande Mataram.